Welcome to Inside the Issues. My name is Amrit Singh. It is just Wednesday, and it's already been a bumpy week for the 10 major candidates running to succeed termed out Governor Gavin Newsom. And yes, I culled it down to 10, but we know there's actually over 60. As today's Cal Matters opinion column from Dan Waters puts it, the race has gotten a lot weirder. It started late Monday night when USC and KABC canceled the governor's debate less than 24 hours before it was set to happen. That cancellation happened after days of criticism of the debate's eligibility criteria. Debate was scheduled to include 6 candidates, all of whom happen to be white, and exclude 4 prominent but low-polling Democratic candidates, all 4 of whom happen to be of color. Then on Tuesday, more chaos. The state Democratic Party released a new poll showing both Republicans at the top and a real risk of Democrats being iced out of the general race in November. It's a top 2 primary, top 2 vote getters go on, regardless of party. It's the first of 6 polls commissioned by the Democrats, and it comes amidst public calls by party chairman Rusty Hicks, who's urged candidates to take an honest look at their chances of winning and consider getting out of the race by April 15th, at least, if they haven't done so already. USC's cancellation of a scheduled gubernatorial debate made local, state, and national headlines. At the heart of the debate's demise was a claim by 4 excluded candidates of color who said racism, not the polling and fundraising criteria, was the real reason for pulling the plug. Joining me now is the expert who created the formula to determine the participant, someone who you might recognize from being on the show in the past, Professor of Political Science at USC, Dr. Grose. Dr. Grose, welcome back to the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
A boring couple of weeks for you.
It's been a boring couple of weeks and an interesting couple of days.
Yeah, it's okay, fine. So that is to say that the criticism really started picking up in the days leading up to the debate, right?
Yeah, so I mean, just going back to it, I was asked by the Center for the Political Future to do this because I'm independent and I'm not part of the debate organization. Working with ABC in the center, they wanted me to independently develop this formula. I came up with the formula. It's based on pretty standard social science in fundraising and polling. It was given to them, they approved it. I didn't look at any of the data until after it was approved, analyzed the data later, gave them numbers on candidate viability that weights polling more, but also counts fundraising, and then gave them a list of candidates, and then they decided who to invite. I did not choose the number of candidates to invite, but I did see in the results, there was a separation among the first candidate who had a very high score, Tom Steyer, and then 5 other candidates who also had higher scores than the rest.
Would you say that you understand why there were allegations of impropriety or bias?
I'm a little surprised because I think that the way this is done is the data were analyzed after the formula was determined, the formula was standard. I do think a lot of the allegations and claims of data manipulation are just completely false. I'm not surprised that it happened because the candidates are trying to get earned media coverage. Candidates are not happy if they're not taking part in a debate. But from my perspective, I created really good analysis that then was used by the debate organizers, not me, to determine who goes into the debate. We
have you on the show because you're an expert at data, so it's understandable that USC would approach you to create this methodology. You did characterize yourself as independent, but we should say you are a professor at USC Dornsife.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, so I work at USC as a professor.
Yeah. And some of the reasons that people started pointing fingers or trying to connect dots and threads, and you can speak to this, is there's this connection between Matt Mahan's candidacy and USC. Mike Murphy's voluntarily advising an independent expenditure committee on behalf of Matt Mahan. Also, Rick Caruso, who has endorsed Matt Mahan, is affiliated with USC in various ways. What do you make of all this, and what do you want to say about it?
So, I mean, Mike Murphy, I barely know him. I have met him once or twice. USC is a huge place, and I have not regularly seen him on campus. I haven't talked to him in a year or 2. I did not know he was even doing that. I was actually a little surprised when a reporter asked me about it about a week ago and was kind of annoyed, actually, when I found out about that. But I didn't know about any of that. Rick Caruso has not called me, spoken to me. I've never met Rick Caruso, and it's a very large campus, and they've not made it to the political science department.
And the issue with Matt Mahan here is that he is also a single-digit polling Democrat, but he happens to be white, not of color, and he made the stage under your methodology, therefore these allegations of impropriety. And in fact, one of the people who did make the stage, Tom Steyer, wasn't at the debate last night because there wasn't one. He came here instead, and he had a message for USC. Let's listen to it and have you respond to it. What's your message to USC about the way that they handled all this?
Look, I think the people at USC are probably sick at heart about the way it worked out, and I think that they made some grievous errors. And I'm sure
Okay, so you are not USC, but are you sick at heart? Do you feel that there were grievous errors made?
I am not sick at heart. I do think there may have been some errors made.
And what would those errors be, and by whom?
I think that the decision to cave to elected officials and public officials with direct interest in an outcome, was not the best. There may have been very good reasons to do it. I was not part of that decision-making process. It's a debate organization decision between USC, ABC7, and Univision. But I think that I wouldn't say people are sick at heart. I actually think many people at USC were pretty angry the day after it was canceled. But that's more about academic freedom and the politics on campuses, less about the politics of the debate.
Well, to that point, there was a statement and a letter written by many people in a community that you recognize as a data analytics community, a scholarship community. It's a statement from scholars on the independence and methodological integrity of Christian Grose. It says it right here. Your name is in the headline. You've become the news. And in part, it says your formula was peer-reviewed social science research. And ultimately, it's not that unusual, is what they're saying. It's somewhat standard. And ultimately, harmful character assassinations towards you for these allegations, these insinuations that you have in some way rigged this or manipulated this data. Tell me more about this and the people that were involved.
Yeah, so this is a group that wanted to basically say that politics should not cause academia, USC, media organizations to change the outcome that was determined based on a formula created early. So this is basically like elected and public officials going to me, to USC, to ABC, and saying, we want you to change what you have decided to do fairly in advance.
Yeah.
And so this academics don't like that, right?
Yeah, right.
People who do data analysis don't like that. They want independence, and it's important to have independence, because if we don't have independence in our universities and in the media, then who will be able to make objective decisions?
Yeah, listen, there's so much more to discuss. We just have a quick second left. I just want to hear from you. What have you learned? What should other pollsters take from this? What's the big takeaway?
I mean, so one thing I've learned, a couple people said, "Oh, you ever going to do this again?" And at first I was like, "Yeah, maybe I'll never do this again." Why did I create a debate formula? But I think one of the things I actually really learned was I should definitely do this again, and I hope other scholars do this again. I hope other professionals who are not involved with any campaign. I'm not involved with any governor's campaign.
Yeah.
It's really important for the media and for universities to continue doing these things, and to not be cowed, and to cancel things because an elected official said it was a bad idea, whether that's a Democrat or a Republican.
Yeah, and I'm sure the people at USC and other universities are hearing you and also understanding what it means for the future of these sorts of ventures. Dr. Christian Grose, thanks so much for coming and being so candid about all this. Great to have you.
Yeah, thanks.
Appreciate your expertise as always. Dr. Christian Grose talking about this governor's race and that debate that was never to be. More coming up on ITI. We'll be right back.